Good evening, everyone. Let me get this visioning right. Man, I wish y'all can see how it looks, but I can't. I can't get the look together. Looks really nice this evening. Salam. Big Usia speaking. First one in, please let me know how the view is. I can't. I'm trying to get it to look like how it looks for me, but I can't. Now I want to explain some deep Hindu, well, I don't want to say Hinduism, but some deep Hindu scholarship concerning, you know how in the West we have the Big Bang, and this is the beginnings of the creation of life, physical life that is. Well, at some point I suppose the question becomes what caused it, the Big Bang. Well, in Hinduism they have what's known as the causeless cause. And it kind of gives insight to that question, what caused the beginnings. And so I want to explain that to you guys. You don't have to be a Hindu. You don't have to be anything to receive the insight of a thing. Meaning none of these scholarships was patented to a certain religion, because I don't think there were religions in the times these things were written. People were still more in the spirit worship. You have the many different spirits. I guess in modern day we know that as like, the 72 demons of Solomon are those spirits, but in the past they kind of worshiped the many different spirits. Everybody worshiping whichever one they chose. In that you can see, like, in past cultures they had many different gods, and but it all makes sense if you understand what I just said. My point of saying that is most of the ancient texts that the religions stand on in today, of course the religions are modern day things, well, the ones we have are, but the texts they stand on, these things are old. So I'm saying that because, in the daytime y'all fall into religions, in that it limits y'all from gaining insight on many things y'all don't know or have a knack to want to know. And so always remember that. You don't want to limit the mind space. Of course, when you become bound to certain groups, any group, You take on the ideal of the group, meaning all groups have an agenda or an ideal that is their source. We're speaking of just the group, not the individuals in it. But the individuals in it, they take on the ideals of the group and the agenda. And you get my point? It limits them to their own agendas and their own ideals. Meaning most of you guys are in some kind of group, gang, this thing or that thing. And that you never took a time out to think, what is your agenda in life? Of course, every agenda serves the agendee. That's just a word I'm making up for the person that came up with the agenda. So let's say you in a gang. That gang has an agenda and an ideal. You abandon your family ideals, your family morals, and all types of things, and you pattern your mind to match the gang members. Over time, of course, that is your agenda to you. You lose sight on, hold on, I don't have an agenda for me. And ideals and things that I live by. And so, like I said, groups and things like that, they interfere or they limit the individual. This is not to say you shouldn't be, one with others, but as individuals, of course, you get my point? You, I'm me, the next person is them, and everybody brings their personality and their contributions to whatever the gathering is of the whole. But you get my point? Meaning y'all should be able to be apart and hang out with whoever y'all choose, not having to be bonded to them for any reason beside that. You get my point? That's my friend, that's why I hang with them. It shouldn't be that's my friend, I hang with them, so I have to be in a gang because they are, and that's the only way we can be. You get my point? It interferes with a lot. And so young people have to get into gangs and groups and things like that so they can find themselves. This is all a part of them seeking, searching. To find themselves, you have to see where you fit a bunch of times before you fit just good with yourself, if that makes any sense. So you get my point? Kids and, the young, they have to fall into groups and gangs and pals. It's a part of the pressures of helping them to find themselves. But those that are grown, you get my point? Your group is your household. And you get my point? If you really take a moment and start to think on what I'm saying, y'all will see how groups interfere with y'all personal lives. And, it's a deep thing. But the mind has to grow. Everybody's mind, perspective, things like this comes together as it does. Peace and wisdom, Sir Jones. Now, if you're in a gang or group, the main thing I want y'all to grasp is my message don't have anything to do with people not being grouped together. But I'm speaking about the groups that y'all fall into. These things predate y'all, all the members. And y'all come together under the agenda and ideal of the group. So you got like a bunch of new people grouped together under old ideals, old agendas. You get my point? Give you an example. Let's just say hypothetically, the Crips and Bloods in LA got beef cause a nigga who will be 97 years old right now got shot on the corner. And so that's a Crip shot some guy on the corner who would be 97 now, and that's how the Bloods formed. That was the agenda, to get them back because of that. Now, all these years later, you get my point. You got all new Blood gang members and Crip gang members all grouped together under the ideals and agendas that was formed because of that moment that was 97 goddamn years ago. In that, do you get my point? Y'all don't need the groups. When I say the group, I mean the ideal and the agenda. That's the name and everything. The Pan-African community, the Blood, the Crip, the Hebrew Israelite, all these groups can be grouped together and still do good works without having to carry on the name, the ideal, and the agenda. Y'all could start y'all own since y'all new anyway. It's a whole new gang representing old shit y'all don't even know what y'all representing if you think about it, you know? It's dumb when you think about it. It's like y'all already grouped together, but all y'all have to do is name yourselves and become whatever y'all are as a group. And you get my point? Like I said, man, y'all still running around here talking about the white man foot on y'all neck, and you get my point? That's some Malcolm X. That's some shit from back in Malcolm X day. We got all new problems now. It ain't got to do with hands and feet no more. It got to do with mind and science. Niggas ain't beating you up the old school way no more. You feel me? Hosing you down and all of that. You might get choked out and shot in the face. But this ain't the way that, things are done anymore. You have to grasp that. Now let's get to the meat, potatoes, and corn and all that. Before I do, I want to say this though. Make sure y'all, when y'all come in here and you listen to what I just said about the groups and all that, mainly if you black, we got to kind of get out of the groups. So at some point, y'all gonna have to come to realize that the Hebrew Israelite group, the Pan-African group, the Blood, the Crip, the Black Panther, all these groups quarrel with one another. And it's because of the ideal and the agenda of old. It don't have anything to do with anything. And that's what keep us separated. You a Muslim, the next person a Christian, but y'all both black. And so you get my point? Before we adopt things that we pick up in society in the world, you got to know who self is. And you get my point? Y'all trying to find yourselves through old things and things y'all find in society. That ain't how you find yourself. You find yourself by becoming. You get my point? Y'all are whatever y'all have become. And so, like I said, as a people, at some point, we gonna have to come together. Kind of realizing the groups and stuff like that. It's ploys to keep us separate. I'm not saying black people came up with these things to keep us separate. I'm just saying, I like the sharpest knives in the drawer. I like the cleanest babies. Ain't the cleanest babies running around in the garden. You pamper puffy. That means it's doo-doo. Let's get to the deep wisdom. I don't want to disturb anyone on this lovely evening. If it wasn't so dark, I'd let you guys see me. I have on Crocs this evening. I look adorable. It's too dark. It's a little too dark, but don't worry about it. You guys don't need to see me. I'm beautiful as I always, you know. That doesn't change. See? Enjoy the beautiful glistening of the river. Damn, I wish y'all could see it how I do. It's not dark at all. It's actually kind of light, like lit. It's the same color as the sky. It's kind of gray. Like I always say, you know, as above, so below. The sky and the rivers or the waters is one. Before and after thing. Now, subscribe if you're not. Become a channel member as well. And hit that thumb. Unless you a bum. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that last part. You know that. Just having a little fun. Now, you have the causeless cause, like I said. This is your ancient Hindu scholarship. And you have other people who have writings on this, like Helena Blavatsky and Uruta. I forget the, I believe he's Indian, Far East. I forget his name. But he has a writings called The Causeless Cause. And like I said, this kind of has to do with what caused the beginnings. So, of course, this is the West. We understand the Big Bang. So in perspective, the causeless cause is basically questioning or explaining what caused this cause to happen. Like, what was the point? Like, why? And so in Hinduism, you have Prakriti and perusia. And all starts with these two. Now, you don't have to be a Hindu to grasp this. I'm going to explain it in layman's terms, but let me just give you a quick understanding in Hinduism. So in Hinduism, you have Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti is the natural state or the natural image of all physical things. The natural state. Not so much the physical manifestation, but all physical things, all manifested things have a natural state. This is what Prakriti is. Remember, this is before the beginnings. This is explaining the beginnings, so to say. And so you have Prakriti, like I said, the natural state of all physical things. And you can say in perspective, this lies dormant in its equilibrium, you know, its balance. And then you have Purusha. Purusha is pure awareness, or you can say consciousness. Now, when Purusha comes into contact with Prakriti, you get the first cause, or the first emanation, or the first happening. And this is called Mahat. Not the ancient Egyptian Mahat, Mahat. But, the same concepts, so to say. And so when Prakriti, which is the natural state of all physical things before they're physical, comes into contact with Purusha, which is pure awareness or consciousness. This is to say, no thought. Just imagine if you were just aware in the present moment. This is the hardest thing for man to do. Meaning, if I challenge most of you guys for 35 seconds straight, just be in the present moment, fully aware. Don't let any past or present thoughts or any thoughts come into your mind space. This is projecting. Just receive, meaning just see and receive in what you're seeing without any judgment, thought, or anything attached. Most people can't do that. Most people never even thought of that. Most people don't even know that that is a problem that they have. And so you get my point? It goes deep, but Purusha is basically that pure awareness or presence, like the present. When Prakriti and Purusha, the natural state of all physical things before they are, in this pure awareness come into contact with each other, this causes an imbalance in the equilibrium of Prakriti, which causes the first emanation or cause. That's Mahat. Now, Mahat is where the I maker or the ahankara, this is the ego. This is where that is born from, the Mahat. Now, Mahat is the first cause, or you can say the Big Bang. If this was the, if that Far East teachings was a Western thing, it's basically saying or explaining what caused the Big Bang. Mahat would be the Big Bang. If you guys become unclear on anything I'm saying at any point, let me know. Write your question down. That way I can double back. And if anyone wants to give back, click the title of the video, the description. My links are there. Now, if this was the West, of course, those teachings are explaining what caused the Big Bang. The Big Bang would technically be Mahat, the first cause or the first emanation after a happening, so to say. Now, to make those teachings crystal clear, meaning the layman's terms, Prakriti, which is the natural state of all physical things, what that is in reality. If I ask most of you guys, what is the natural state of all physical things? Meaning, what's the natural state of me, you, the bird, the lion, the dog? Most of you guys will probably be thinking for quite a while, what's the natural state? I have no clue, Mr. Solace. And so the natural state of all physical things is unconsciousness. I'll say that again. The natural state of all physical things before manifest physical is unconsciousness. The consciousness that you are, it emerges from the unconsciousness. You're unconscious before you physically wake up. Whether you're speaking every day or your birth. You were unconscious in the womb. Even when you weren't, until you were born out. I'm saying even when you weren't, because you can dream in the womb just like you can dream when you're unconscious. But if you've never been born out to be physically conscious, then all of that is still, you know what it is, unconsciousness. And so the natural state of all physical things is unconscious. Now don't think so much on your experience in unconsciousness, but just the black dark void that it is. It's saying that black dark void, which is the natural state of all physical things, is Prakriti. So you could say in the beginning it was just the dark primeval waters, or Prakriti, or the sea of unconsciousness. And within this dark space, you have all the dimensions, or all the emanations parts of the physical thing, kind of lying dormant, hidden in there. Kind of think like how dream, you know, all the many different places of dream is hidden in unconsciousness. It's just in there. You fall into it sometimes. It becomes, you know, visible like that. All the parts of the physical. Think like your physical body. You have fingers, hands, toes, eyeballs, ears. All of this lies unseen in the unconsciousness. But, you know, it just needs something to activate it, you know, bring it forth. And so that's Prakriti. Now, perusia is consciousness or pure awareness. This is like what you are when you were first born. Just pure awareness or consciousness. You have no discernment between good, bad. You have no judgment or nothing because you have no experience in that. You just see and receive in. You mimic everything you see because you don't dislike or like anything. You get it? A baby will mimic and smile and giggle at anything and, you know, do whatever they can because they don't have any judgment or perception of anything. It's just pure awareness before it falls into the ego or, you know, the I and the perception that comes with that I. Mm. Anything with with a perspective is a person. That's what makes the person, the perspective, not the image, the perspective. And so Purusha, this is pure awareness. Like I said, this is like if you didn't have any past or present thought, past or future thoughts, but you were just present in the moment. In that you do all you can do in the moment because there's nothing else for you to do but make use of the moment. You get my point? I'm not sure if that went over a lot of you guys' heads. You don't do everything and accomplish everything that you can because you sit sometimes thinking. And when you're speaking of thinking, you're talking about past or present. In that, for that time, the mind is not in the present. You follow? This is a problem man has that man is not aware of. When I say man, I mean mankind. In that, even when man is awake and present, his mind is wandering off into thoughts of what he's going to do, what happened to him, you know, that past and present thing. Maybe this thing, maybe that thing. In that, he's never taken advantage of the present because he's not in it truly. We're awake, but most people are not in the present moment. They're somewhere in their head. And so you get my point? The present moment is a doing thing, not a thinking thing. If y'all didn't have any past thoughts to fall into our present thoughts, or any thoughts, then y'all would just do all y'all could do in the moment. You get my point? Without thinking of anything. You get my point? If the mind is not moving, then the body is. A pure awareness is just action. Do you follow? It's not thought, but it's just instinctive action and filling up the present moment with that action, so to say. Peace and wisdom, Sir Jones. He said, got it. Oh, I'm out here getting ate up, I think. I'm not sure. The bugs gotta eat too, you know. Everything got to get its share. Now, perusia, pure awareness. What in the hell is that? Do y'all see that? It's like fire's coming out the back. Y'all can't see that? What is that? Hey, what is that? The fuck is that? Yo, I swear to God, all of y'all that's in the UFOs. Hey, yo, what is that? Something, it just went by the water. A grayish, bluish fire just shooting out the back. Everybody's looking like, what the fuck is that? It's not on the water. It wasn't on the water or nothing. Just like 3 inches above it. You know, if it was on the water, the waves would have been coming in now. You see it in, well, y'all ain't even see it. But it didn't disturb the water at all. It's just riding right above it with fire coming out the back. This is why I don't come out here at night. Last time a mermaid chick crawled out the water. Talking about, come here, handsome. So y'all know I came, because I'm weak. I said, hey, cutie, what did I say? You wet? Okay. Okay, what you got? Yo, seaweed on you? Get that off. Okay, what you want? I went, she snatched me up under the water. I don't know what happened after that. I woke up butt naked on the seashore looking like a shrimp. Nah, I'm just playing, relax. Kidnapped by mermaid blood. I don't know what she did to me. I come out here ever so often. Nah. I come out here ever so often at night hoping she comes back. And please come back. Nah. Elon Musk just got back. Salam, shalom. I have no clue what you're talking about, big baby. Now, I've explained what Prakriti is. Like I said, this is the unconsciousness, the natural state of our physical things. And perusia is pure awareness. It's saying when pure awareness comes into contact with the unconsciousness. So it's saying when consciousness comes into contact with unconsciousness, the consciousness causes all that is within the unconsciousness to manifest out. And this is where you get your first emanation, or your first thing to be seen in this unconsciousness. Like I said, that is Mahat. And from that, the I, or the ego, is kind of born from Mahat. Now, the reason all things begin to manifest physically out of Prakriti, in perusia, when consciousness comes into contact with unconsciousness, the reason why all that is within the unconsciousness starts to manifest out is because the pure awareness or the consciousness that came into contact with it is aware of it. That awareness is causing for a present moment. And so all starts to happen in that present moment. That present moment is life. Do you get it? Unconsciousness is still and stuck. When present moment comes into contact with it, it makes what's still and stuck eternal, like the present moment or the consciousness. In that, it starts coming forth by day or by consciousness, so to say. In ancient Egyptian, this is what the Book of the Dead is called, the coming forth by day. It's explaining basically the same thing that I just said. It's a deep thing. Let me know if you guys are grasping. I'm explaining deep advanced level Hinduism. So let's say you're a Hindu. You're well versed in Hinduism. I'm just giving you guys a perspective that's from the West. Let's say you're like a yogi in Hinduism. So you get my point? I'm teaching you in perspective. This is not ego. I'm being serious in this moment. I have a way with words, the clarity of things. In that, a yogi knows his scholarship, but explaining it in real time, in real life for a person to grasp. So that's a whole nother matter. You get my point? In that, the yogi doesn't have to get tangled up by his words anymore, like Prakriti and Perusia. Can just use words that we use now to describe what's being talking about. It's almost as if in today's times we forget the texts and things we read are explaining things in the life we live in, using the words that were used in their time. When we don't get full understanding of what they're talking about, the words do not get updated. And in that, do you get my point? Prakriti stays Prakriti instead of evolving into the word unconsciousness or dark cosmic space, because I guess men don't fully grasp things at some point. In that, makes for a big gap in, not understanding things fully like it was intended. Everything is simple, but when you don't understand something and you fill in your own understanding with it, it gets fuzzy. And so this is what happens a lot, in modern day. But when pure awareness, consciousness, comes into contact with the sea of unconsciousness, it starts to manifest all that is within the dark space out. And these are the many emanations of that being coming forth by day. That being will be that consciousness now enclosed inside of that unconsciousness. And all the happenings from that moment after are all the emanations of this being coming forth into the physical life in, day, awake. But this is explaining the whole universe. Like I said, the universe is body. The ancients, they understood this. This is why they always depicted, the higher levels of life as body. Understanding that they are emanations, happenings of the whole. And so you have the first cause, which is Mahat, which would be like the Big Bang. And it's the first cause because you have the reason for it. The reason being, perusia came into contact with prakriti. You get it? Mahat, or the Big Bang, is the first cause. And it's the first cause because you have a reasoning of why that cause happened. The reason is because Purusha came into contact with Prakriti, or consciousness came into contact with unconsciousness. And that's called the causeless cause. Meaning, why did consciousness come into contact with unconsciousness? Do you get it? So you have the first cause, which is Mahat, or let's say the Big Bang. And you have the reasoning for why that happened. Prakriti came into contact with Purusha. But why did that happen? Causeless cause. Meaning you don't have a reasoning why that first happenings happened. And so you get it? That's why it's called the causeless cause. Now I'm going to explain why consciousness came into contact with unconsciousness, but I'm just making sure you guys are clear on strange things that happen in the night, boy. Come on here, believer aliens tomorrow. I seen them, y'all. Nah, let me stop. I seen the reptilians, y'all. They came last night. They had sex with me. You know, all alien talking niggas stay with the story how they got molested by aliens. I'll be like, really, God? Like, don't get no ass. Now you want to throw that. You know what I mean? Niggas don't get no ass, then they want to try to sneak it, sneak it in there. You know, I had sex in my dream last night. You know, I got kidnapped by an alien. They raped me, man. Shut up. You was having sex with yourself last night. I'm sorry, what was that? Let me get back to let's get back to the deep content. Now I'm gonna explain why consciousness came into contact with unconsciousness. Meaning I'm gonna explain the causeless cause. You stupid. You said the lack of buns. Oh my god, the Prakriti blood wasn't getting nothing. It was still. It was silent, dark, and still. This is his sex life. The Prakriti. The causeless cause. I'm sorry, let me stop. Nigga, life is a causeless cause. Sex life is like a causeless cause. It never gets to the first action. It never gets to the first cause, which is getting some. You're gonna die having sex with yourself. That's beating off. I'm sorry, where was I? Those that's new, we just like to have a little fun here. You can't just have wisdom in. You can't be, stick up the booty. You gotta be a little loose, you know? Salam. I'm gonna let you go, Michigan Natural Living. Whatever you promoting, make sure you getting paid, cause you fools be on here freely promoting butt itch cream. Here promoting ass itch cream. Ain't nobody on here want to buy no anal itch cream. Can you please get lost? Thank you. Now, where was that? If any of y'all want to buy butt cream, he he has it. Go find him. Now, where was that before the anal butt cream itcher popped up on my line? Oh, I was going to explain the causeless cause. Get back in frequency, don't worry. No, I'm sorry if you knew that's what I do, you know. It's not a gay, that's not a gay thing. It's, you know, it's masculine. It's the splendor. I'm sorry, Ab. You have to learn. Now I'm going to explain the causeless cause. Like I said, it's called the causeless cause because the cause of why it happened isn't explained, meaning why perusia, or consciousness, came into contact with unconsciousness. Now I'm going to explain the causeless cause, the reason why consciousness came into contact with unconsciousness. Make sure you're listening because you're never going to hear anything this deep again. You know, I'm the deepest. Yeah? Oh, I've acquired. Let's just say I've acquired the higher consciousness that everyone speaks of and seeks out. You know, that all-knowing thing. It's deep. Now, peace and wisdom lie in Zion. The reason consciousness came into contact with unconsciousness is because of a thought. See, remember when I explained that pure awareness or consciousness is the present moment, meaning it's present, or presence, the present moment. And man has this pure awareness, or he started off as this pure awareness before he began to get lost in his ego or his own perspective, which is manipulated by, you know, all he sees and hears, causes him to go into past thought or future thought, basically causing the mind to wander off from the present moment. The present moment in the awareness or consciousness goes together. But once the consciousness drifts off from the present moment, this is like Lucifer falling from heaven. Do you follow? It is like pure awareness, which is light, going dark. This is how consciousness came into contact with unconsciousness, and it still happens even now in your existence. Meaning, you have the present moment. This is eternity, meaning the present moment never ends. It just continues on. You see how I paused right there? Just so you could see. The present moment isn't a 1, 2, 3 thing. It's just a moment that don't end, a presence, and we're in it. Then we leave it when we go unconsciousness or going to sleep, or when we die. And the sun rises and sets, and you get my point. Everything comes and goes from this present moment. I'm not speaking the world and the earth. I'm speaking the present moment, which is a consciousness. And we're all consciousness in perspective that comes directly from this presence or present moment. Pure awareness. Meaning pure awareness is the present moment or eternity, life. When the consciousness snaps out of the present moment by thinking of something in the past or the future, or just letting the mind wander, in that moment or for that time, the consciousness is knocked out of its present moment. Do you get it? This is why it's not good for us to let our minds wander. You make good use of your idle time or the present moment. This is your life and the life you're in. But what we do is we start to overthink, meaning we either think in the past or we think in the future, or we get lost in our thoughts and replaying out things that we don't need to, as opposed to just being in the present moment. Now, if most people snap right into the present moment, you get my point? And you had no escape, meaning you had no thoughts you could wander off into, then most of y'all would become aware of y'all present reality. And this is the beginnings of shaping and forming one's life. Meaning most of y'all have not taken a moment to see your present reality, but that's because you're never in the present. There's always something to distract you from it. Whether it be getting lost in thoughts, getting lost in drugs, whatever. But there's something to take you out of your present moment. You get my point? If I tell you you can't think of anything old or new, meaning no past thoughts, no what I'm gonna do's, and you can't drink or smoke or do whatever drugs you do, then y'all will be stuck just sitting there. You get it? Having nothing to do, becoming aware of the present reality, which is I'm just sitting here doing fucking nothing with myself. This is when you'll get up and do, because you have nothing else you can do. You can't think in the past, think in the future, go get on this drug, get on that drug. You can only just deal with the present reality. This is when y'all will get the most out of self. You follow? And so when the consciousness wanders off from the present moment or life, well, this is how it falls into the unconsciousness. And this is how all that's in the unconsciousness becomes manifest. And this still happens, meaning when you guys, y'all are consciousness, when y'all fall into unconscious sleep, then sometimes the places in unconsciousness becomes manifest. Y'all call that dream. Those experiences and things that you do in dream, it's still happening in the unconscious space. You're not awake like that. Meaning when consciousness comes into contact with unconsciousness, the same things still happen that did in the beginning. What's within the darkness becomes manifest, but this is because the consciousness becomes aware, or the consciousness is awareness, light, presence. In that, it makes for the thing to become manifest because the thing is seen, so to say. Now, of course, you as consciousness, you see all the things you see in the physical reality, and some of these things catch your eye. They become a part of your memory. When you fall into the unconsciousness sucks all your memories out. These memories become place. Not just your memories, but everybody's memories in existence makes for all the places we know in the unconsciousness, which we call dream. Now, of course, when you wake back up into consciousness, you say, I didn't lose my memory, Solace. When you wake up out of your unconsciousness, you do not have your memories with you. You have to think back and reach into the darkness for them. Meaning you have to snap out of the present moment and say, let me think, like that. It ain't just with you. You follow? And so, it's like that Satan story. The host of heaven are one of the brightest lights becoming darkness. Because of the pride or the thought. And so what we have as the first cause is not the first cause truly. And what we have as the causeless cause is truly not the causeless cause, because it's a reason for it as well. I just explained it. And so the true causeless cause is, why did the consciousness drift off? Why did the consciousness drift off out of the present moment? You can view the present moment as like heaven, and the consciousness being something that exists in this eternity. Why did the consciousness drift off? We're not speaking physicals, we speak in realities though. And so that would be the causeless cause, or what has no reason. In Mahat, or the Big Bang, would truly be the second cause or emanation. You guys grasp that? Was that deep enough for you? You know, I can go deeper. You know, that was light. I can go a lot deeper, you know. Just let me know, you know. This is what I do, like. Stop bothering y'all. I'm just playing, guys. Now, do y'all grasp? Or do I need to go a little deeper? You know, I know everybody have different levels of perception and understanding, so like I said, that's deep level Hinduism, but I just made it a little simple, but it's still a deep thing. It may not still be that crystal clear, you know, to everyone, but physical life came to be because of what I just explained, meaning consciousness came into contact with unconsciousness. Or you can say light came into contact with darkness, darkness being still, silent, and dormant. But once the light or the consciousness comes into contact with it, it makes it visible. And you can look at it like egg cell and sperm cell. The egg cell is the substance of the unconsciousness. Look at the unconscious space, not the experience of it, meaning you're going unconscious, but look at unconsciousness as place, space, dark space. And of course, all space or air is manifested substance, you know, like right before our eyes, rain falls. Meaning the airs come together, they manifest their substance. Now you have this dark space, or airs, which is unconsciousness. It manifests its substance. Its substance is what we would know as menses fluid, you know, a woman's period blood. Now I know you might say, ew, that's nasty. How do you get that connection? Well, you have soil on all three planes of existence, meaning you have the astral plane, the substance plane, or the liquid plane, and, you know, physical matter. You have substance on all three, you have soil on all three levels. Now, the unconsciousness is soil, meaning consciousness is like a seed. It gets planted in the unconsciousness. If you're lost every night, your consciousness gets planted into the subconscious or the unconscious. The unconscious is like soil, meaning it receives in. And of course, it sprouts the thing out in the morning or whenever its time comes. You put a seed in soil, and then in a time, what the seed is sprouts forth the same way the consciousness is planted in the unconsciousness, and then in the morning, you wake up. I'm giving you an example so you can grasp. Unconsciousness is your first stage of soil. Soil being a thing where you plant something in it and you get something out of it, meaning something emerges from it. Now, unconsciousness is soil. If you go to a woman's menses cycle, this is where the egg cell and all of that comes from. That's soil on a liquid level. You plant something into it and you get it, the baby manifests. And of course, on the physical planes of existence, dirt is soil. And so that unconscious space manifests its waters or its substance, which is what we would call that menses stuff. This is where the egg cell is. Now, of course, you have the seminal fluid, which is the seed on the substance level. Of course, you have physical seeds for the physical level. You put those in dirt. You have liquid seed that you put into the liquid soil, that's seminal fluid. And then you have air seed that you put into, the air soils. This is your unconscious and conscious. Hopefully that's clear to all of you guys. And so even with the egg cell being like an emanation of this unconsciousness, the egg cell being the precursor to the physical body. When the seminal fluid or the consciousness goes into it, it causes the egg cell to start going through emanations or manifesting out. You get my point? And so, it's like I said, when Prakriti comes into contact with perusia, you always get, the manifesting out. Now, if you have any questions, ask. And what are you still up for? Karuba Motuang said it's 4 a.m. in South Africa, and I am honored to share this present moment on this live. Shalom, shalom. Enjoy the content. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Become a channel member. If you want to give back, click the description. That's the title of the video. My links are there. I'm gonna take a quick restroom break. Now, if you have any questions, y'all can ask. My light ain't working right to start a fire. It's a lot of little, whatever these is called, for making fire. And my light done broke. I can only get a little bit of, hmm, I can only get a little bit of fire going. Keep the bugs away though. Now, if y'all don't have any questions, I'm about to depart. Of course, this topic goes, there's a lot of text in regards to the Far East, you know, Hinduism. There's a lot of text, Vedas, or whatever you want to call it, on what I was just explaining. And of course, in all cultures, it's the same when you're dealing with the ancient Egyptian scholarship. You know, Nun, Heg, Kek, Amen, so on and so forth. It's the same thing. It's explaining the primeval waters or the darkness, the unconsciousness, and the many emanations of this unconsciousness manifesting out physically as physical consciousness. When I say physical consciousness, I mean a physical vessel that's conscious, you know, with the conscious in it. Not just consciousness without one. Think like dream. One doesn't have to be physical to dream. Dream is a consciousness, meaning you become a conscious or aware in the unconsciousness because you're a consciousness. So, but it's not physical consciousness where you're in the physical reality. It's just the underworld or the sub. Tori and Howard said survival techniques. Exactly. Bugs don't like smoke. I had a question. When judging life in Hindu religions, I noticed they measure life to the micro forms of life. Any reason to why they go so deep? The smaller levels of life are how you get to the larger levels of life, are the higher planes of existence. In that, you have to know the micro to get to the macro. To give you an example, meaning life doesn't start at the organism level, which is where we are. It starts way before that. You have cells. This is a level of life beneath us, or micro in comparison. You have molecules, atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons. You have quarks beneath that. So you have many levels or planes of, you know, physical existence before you get to the organism level. And even after the organism level, you still have many levels of existence, physical existence. all becoming more and more hard. So organism level, this is your level of clay, meaning when the physical life reaches a state of being clay. Pull at your cheek, at your arm, how it's, clay-like. If you go to the level of life above us, which is your solar or your star body life, it's like diamond or rock, just like a dead body is the stage after, physical. And you be hard like a rock. So you get my point? When you go to the galaxy levels of life that's above the solar bodies, they're like metals. And you get it? The universal body, so on and so forth. When you go to the micro bodies, so your cellular levels of life is like mud. Think like seminal fluid, like thick liquid seminal fluid, menses fluid, mud, all having the micro levels of life within it, living within it, and you get my point? Them being like the existence itself, so to say. And of course, beneath the cell level of life, you have the molecular level of life, or the molecule level of life, and your molecules are within liquids. Not thick, muddy liquids, but, liquids. And so you get it? They're like your liquid level of life, or like your Poseidons, or your fishmen, so to say, Physical life manifested out as liquid, having not reached the higher planes of existence where it becomes thicker, and then like clay, and then like stone, and so on and so forth. And of course, when you get to your electrons and proton levels of life, this is your levels of light. Light is before liquid, lightning is before the rain. You get my point? It's just simple science, simple realities of, life manifesting forth physically. And so this is why they go all the way down to, the quark, or the microest levels of life you can think of, because all is manifesting from there, and there is where all begins, meaning God is in the beginning and the end. But do you get it? The root is in the beginning. So in perspective, finding God has to do with going backwards all the way to before anything. And that, do you get my point? You'd have to go that way, into the micros, the micro levels of life. There you go, gases to liquids to solids. And so there's many levels or planes of existence in that way. And the egg cell is the portal into the higher planes of existence. This is why when you're dealing with your sacred geometry, the tree of life, the flower of life, the seed of life, these are all, those geometrical symbols are representations of the many different emanations of the egg cell. Remember, when you speak in sacred geometry, think of like a sacred geometry video you may have heard of, the flower of life, and how it leads to higher planes of existence or higher dimensions. Again, think if you ever heard of a flower of life video and it leading to higher dimensions or planes of existence. I'm saying that because in modern day, this is how the flower of life and the geometrical patterns that are the flower of life, the germ of life, the egg of life, the fruit of life, etc. These geometrical patterns are being associated with higher planes of existence or consciousness. Those geometrical patterns are the many different emanations of the egg cell manifesting from the blood, it becoming conceived, and then going through all the many different emanations it does, manifesting out as physical body in the physical world. Of course, now that physical is on a higher plane of existence. The egg is a cell. The egg cell is the precursor to the physical organism body that's born out. So the egg cell, like I said, is the portal into the higher planes of existence, or the higher physical life. Like I said, sperm cell gets egg cell, and then that is born out into the higher planes of existence, which is organism level of life. I'm saying that so you can grasp. The flower of life are the geometrical patterns in the higher planes of existence. Talk of modern day is not fully understood. If it was, you get my point. It's as simple as I just made it. All those geometrical patterns represents a stage in the egg cell's development. The Pisces vesica, that one, that's your 2-cell stage part of an egg cell developing. The fruit of life is the DNA of the blood. If you're lost, if you look at the fruit of life symbol, the fruit of life symbol is a representation of a DNA molecule or strand, the nucleotide strands. When you're dealing with the DNA strands and its parts, they have to do with sugars and proteins. It's just like seminal fluid. It's food, it's protein. That's why it's called the fruit of life, because it's full of sugars, meaning our DNA is full of sugars. Weird as it sounds. A sweet substance, so to say. You can look it up. Look up what does DNA consist of, like the parts of it. And you're going to see it says that the parts basically consist of, sugars. Basically, it's binding sugars together. Meaning that's how what do they call that? The helix? The DNA symbol with the 2 lines and then the lines connecting those 2 lines, making like a double helix. That's what the fruit of life symbol is representing. One of the components of the double strand thing, the double helix thing, the DNA molecule. The DNA molecule consists of sugars. A lot of parts of the body, when you're talking about the micro parts, it consists of like sugars. And so that's why it's called the fruit of life, because it's explaining the DNA. And the DNA consists of sugars. So in perspective, you can say the DNA is like fruit, because inside of fruit, you got your sweet sugars. And so, it's a simple thing to grasp. But like I said, of course, when you're dealing with the menses cycle, those bloods, any blood you can say in perspective, have the DNA in it. And so the fruit of life symbol is explaining that, the DNA in the blood. Of course, the egg of life is the egg cell, which is emerging from the blood. And then from there, you have the conceived egg cell. This is Metatron's cube. This is when you see the triangle facing up and the triangle facing down connected. That's to say masculine and feminine becoming bounded. Sperm cell gets egg cell. From there, you have the Pisces vesica. That's the 2-cell stage of the egg. Then you have the 4-cell stage. Then you have the 8-cell stage. Then you have the marula cell stage. That's the flower of life, the marula. 8 to 16 stage, or the 16 to 32 stage. That's the marula. Then after that, you have the 64 stage. That's, I forgot what they call that one. The 64 tetrahedron, that geometrical pattern. That's basically the blastocyst stage. But basically, you have to be well versed in science to understand those geometrical patterns. Those geometrical patterns all being the many different emanations of the egg cell in womb from the blood, meaning starting from the stage of just the blood before it manifests into the egg. And then, of course, the egg becomes conceived, and the many emanations before it comes forth by day or is born out. And so that's why the flower of life is it kind of coincides with higher planes of existence, because the egg cell is the portal into the higher planes of existence. Meaning, you have to get an egg cell to come into the physical life, but it wouldn't matter what level of life you are on. You get my point? You go to the higher planes of existence, you have comets. These are like sperm cells on a larger plane of existence, and they're looking for moons. Moons being egg cells on a higher plane of existence. If you're lost, the moon cycle and the woman's menses cycle are one. This is why the moon has all those craters, as they say. Of course, you get new moons every month. They come from Saturn. That's where all the moons are. New moons is produced in Saturn and pushed out every month. And you get my point? It's a deep thing. But the egg cell is the portal into the higher planes of existence, or the next level of life. So comets get egg cells. Comets get moons, which is the same as, sperm cells getting eggs. And then those comets and moons become what we call solar bodies. Solar body is the higher plane of existence. The sperm cells get egg cells, and then you get to the organism level of life. You get it? Comet gets moon, then you get to the higher level of life, which is the solar body. So the moon and the comet is before the solar body, just like the sperm and the egg cell is before the organism body. If you get confused and you say, how can a moon make the solar body when the moon is a part of the solar body? The same way the egg cell is before the physical woman, but the physical woman become a grown-up and she have egg cells too. She started from an egg cell, now she have egg cells a part of her. The same way the solar body started from a moon, and now it have moons. That's the best I can explain it. So, peace and wisdom, Thomas, man. Said I live in Missouri near St. Louis, and the northern lights could be seen a few weeks ago. That never happens. I was wondering what they really are. The northern lights, the cosmos is a south and north thing, no different. Like I said, as above, so below. Everything is the same, an unconscious and conscious thing. And so when you're dealing with the egg cell, no matter what level or plane of existence you're speaking of, it's the portals into the higher planes of existence, or the next level of life. When I say levels, I mean like atom, molecule, cell, organism, solar body, galactic body, universe, different planes of existence. The consciousness making its way through them all. It gets an exhale, so to say. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I'm going to depart. Torian Howard said Northern Lights, as it's safe to say, are the passings from one existence to the next. No, I didn't go into it because you guys don't have a proper understanding of things. Y'all kind of see things and you get my point. The questions become like a toenail to a whole foot, a foot being a part of a whole body, and y'all asking about toenails. That's the best example I could give you. Y'all asking about things y'all don't even grasp are a part of a whole. It's the whole you need to grasp. It's like the earth. You say, what shape is the earth? It wouldn't matter. You don't live in the earth. You live in the solar body. The earth is a part of it. You get it? Like that. Y'all kind of get lost into things that's a part of the whole. That's why I say the mind has to be whole. Y'all still lost in the sides, and that y'all see like pieces of things. But you have the duality in life. So you have the northern sky and the southern sky in regards to, you know, up above the cosmos, and that's an up and down thing. Okay, the bugs is getting a little out of hand, but it's pretty good. I put some cinnamon on myself. I ain't really get disturbed this evening. And so when you're dealing with what I just explained, meaning the causeless cause, this video goes deeper than me just explaining to you ancient Hinduism scholarship on the beginnings of existence. I'm explaining to you your own existence and how your consciousness or your mind, you know what you are, wanders off from its present moment, the present moment being eternity in everything. Not just in this physical plane, but the present moment is everything, and everything is dependent on it. But the mind grasping the present moment is, you get my point? Meaning I'm not sure you guys have the mind yet to grasp what I'm saying in totality. Some of y'all are probably getting lost in the physical life, where you think I'm saying the physical life is the present moment. Physical life ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. The physical life is just the physical manifestations of the unconsciousness. Like I said in the beginning of this video, Prakriti is the natural state of all physical things. And then I explain how that is the unconsciousness. So you can just say this physical life is just a manifestation of the darkness. But the reason it manifests is because of perusia, or the pure awareness, the consciousness. And this is what you call the present moment, or the present. In Islam, the Bashir, you know, good tidings, good news. The news being light and awareness in the dark. In the dark of manifest out. But it's a deep thing. And so the video is not just about the scholarship, but it has to do with self. And how as we age and go through life more and more, the mind starts to wander out of its present moment. And the mind has to always stay in the present moment, because the mind is awareness. Once the awareness, or the mind, the consciousness, drifts off into, you know, the past or the future. You can just say thoughts. It's going into its darkness or its unconsciousness. This is where memory is. So it's a deep thing. Now I'm about to depart. Y'all enjoy y'all evening. Subscribe to the channel. Click the thumb up if you haven't. And become a channel member whenever you get a chance. And if anyone wants to give back, click the title of the video. Of course, I believe in balance. This is the comings and the goings. This is the source of, life itself. Everything is the tide. The comings and the goings are, the balance. And so you can click the description. My links are there. Salam, shalom.